Okay. I'd like to welcome you all to our 1:30 p.m. Tuesday session, and today we'll be covering all about food waste, so some information, some fun facts, and at the end I also have an app that I would like to go over with you all as well to utilize in helping reduce food waste. So again, I hope you all enjoy, and thank you all so much for coming on to our session today. The WildTech DC Senior iPad program, its owners and presenters offer technical assistance, virtual health, well-being information designed for educational purposes only. You should not rely on the information in any applications or topics made by WildTech, including but not limited to mobile device applications and any social media pages maintained by WildTech, its owners or presenters as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment, or legal advice. Thank you so much for letting me read the disclaimer. If you cannot see me, hear me, or see the screen, please let me know in the chat and I would appreciate that. Let's make sure to keep our TV and cell phone silent to the best of our abilities to give others, and most importantly ourselves, the most immersive experience. And I always recommend that you have some kind of notes next to you to write down some info that you could review later on. Okay, thank you so much. To keep our meetings organized and avoid talking over each other, ask some kind of etiquette, I just ask that you use the raise a hand feature if you ever have a question, a comment, a concern, reaction, anything of that nature. Either during and or at the end of the session, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions utilizing this feature. So again, I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand. You tap more at the top right of Zoom, and then you tap on raise hand. So simple two-step process, more, then raise hand. Again, if you ever have a question, a comment, a concern, a reaction, anything of that nature, please raise your hand in Zoom and we'd love to hear from you. At the end, we'll have, a little mini overview and discussion. You want to go over anything or share what you learned, things of that nature, right? I may ask throughout the session, hey, did you do X, Y, and Z? And if you did, raise your hand. So that way, you could, participate in things of that nature as well. So the raise hand feature is very, very important, and it's very different uses, which I really like. So again, I want everyone in Zoom to please raise their hand by tapping more at the top right of Zoom, and then you can tap raise hand, okay? Thank you so much. Yep, thank you. Number 10, thank you so much, Ms. Reeves, appreciate that. Thank you so much for participating. Just sending a chat here or there, just assisting folks. Thank you for your patience. Wow, 11 hands, thank you. I even saw a thumbs up. If you look below raise hand, these are different reactions you can share. But again, if you have a question or a comment or a concern or anything of that nature, make sure to hit raise hand. The reactions only last for a couple seconds here and there. So thank you all so much. I see we have 12 hands. I appreciate your participation, you all. You all can lower your hands by hitting lower at the bottom. And it says your hand is raised. Then it says lower. So don't forget to lower your hand once you've been called so we can make sure everyone has the opportunity to speak. So again, we still have 2 hands up. Don't forget to hit your hand is raised and it says lower. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And we also want to utilize the chats as well during every Zoom session that we attend. The chat is a great way to share a greeting, send a photo, ask a question, send your congrats, anything of that nature. You can use the chat by going to Zoom, and then you can tap on more at the top right. And then on your end, chat will be the first one, but it's the 4th one on mine because I'm a co-host. But again, you'll hit chat more than chat. And then at the bottom, it says tap here to chat. So I'm gonna write hello. Today is World Hunger Day. So all about food, making sure that everyone has a plate, has food, able to nourish themselves. It's so, so important. So here are some plates for World Hunger Day. So again, you can share just a simple hi or hello, or again, happy Memorial Day, or hope you enjoyed your weekend. Certainly, again, enjoyed mine, despite, some parts of it being quite busy. So things of that nature as well. So you can even add a photo in the chat if you like. You can hit the plus sign next to tap here to chat, and then you can hit photo and add any photo from your Photos app. into the Zoom chat. So again, I hope everyone had a wonderful Memorial Day. So I just shared some pictures. You can share more than one at a time if you like, a GIF and a picture as well. So there are many different ways to utilize the chat to share how you're feeling, what's going on. You can put your question in the chat, things of that nature. So again, thank you all so much for participating. I see good afternoon, happy Tuesday. Thank you, Miss Louise. Yeah, hope you're having a beautiful day as well. Thank you. Hey, 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 yep, it's a great day outside. It was wonderful. Um, Oh, it's so nice. My friends here. We are the last week of May. It's amazing how fast this year is going. It's great to see you, each of you, with your smiling faces. I hope you enjoy the holiday. As always, I try to remind you, please have a day to be kind to someone this day, because if you're kind, it will return to you twofold. I love your man. I love them, Mr. Thomas. They're so true each and every time. So I appreciate that. Yes, being kind and helping others. Yeah, it's good to be kind to someone. Thank you so much. Yep. Hello, everyone. Beautiful day. Oh, thank you, Mr. Harold. I think this is one that I think I shared and you saved it, or it could be the other way around. But either way, thank you for sharing that. And I love your rainbows, Miss Jacqueline. It was, the rain was on something different this weekend. So thank you so much for sharing some color and rainbow into our life. Thank you so much. And let's all continue to utilize the chat during today's, well, not just during today's session, but every Zoom session that you attend. In the chat, I'd love if you could share something that you made today or something that you cooked this weekend really quick. Anything that you made or even ate this past weekend or even today. Let me. Yep, thank you for your patience, everyone. Let's see what else in the chat. Thank you. Really appreciate your participation, everyone. Wow, oxtails. And wow, Brenda, that looks really good. Thank you so much for sharing that in the chat, you all. Thank you. Appreciate that again more. Again, here, that's one good thing that I can show you all. When you're in Zoom and you get kicked out, unfortunately, some of the chat goes away. But I could see it on my other device, thankfully. Wow, Brenda, that looks really good. Wow, you showed up and showed out, didn't you? Wow, thank you so much for sharing that, you all. Yeah, thank you all so much for sharing. And then, yeah, cornbread. I haven't made it in a while, so I certainly felt like it. So continue to share again what you're eating or what you have ate or prepared this weekend, maybe what sessions you're looking forward to this week as well. So I'll be sure to shout those chats out during the session today. Okay, but again, thank you all so much for sharing. Thank you so much. So today we'll be talking about food waste. So first we got to know what is food waste, right? Because that, it's a pretty general term, but there's some intricacies that go along with that. So food waste refers to the discarding or wastage of edible food occurring at various stages of the food supply chain, including production, distribution, retail, and consumption. It is a significant global issue that has economic, social, and environmental consequences. Some reasons include losses from mold, pests, inadequate climate control, cooking, and intentional food waste, right? Food loss occurs before the food reaches the consumer. So everything before it gets in the customer's hands, that's food loss. But food waste refers to the food that is fit for consumption. There's nothing wrong with the food, but it's intentionally discarded at retail or human consumption phases. And we're gonna learn more about why kind of that occurs in our presentation. But even then, if you see this little GIF, it says 80 billion pounds of food is thrown away each year. That is equivalent to 1,000 Empire State Buildings. So just thinking about it, how much waste that is. If that's kind of shocking to think about, or if you were interested or thought about food waste at some point before, please raise your hands. Again, if that fact just kind of, made you feel some type of way, it certainly made me feel some type of way, because that's a lot of food that's just not being eaten that could have been provided to someone. You know what I'm saying? So again, if you ever thought about food waste, you wanted to learn more about it, or if that fact was quite, shocking in a way, please raise your hand in Zoom. But again, with food waste, there's really food loss and there's food waste. So before it reaches the customer's hands and after as well, or even at retail. So thank you so much. I got a couple of hands. I appreciate that. And again, we're going to be learning more about food waste today. So thank you so much. This video is called Edible But Ugly by the New York Times. So again, I hope you find this interesting and learn something new.
Ugly fruits and vegetables are the 20% of fruits and vegetables that are grown on farms that don't make it to supermarkets each year. And that's usually for small cosmetic reasons like too big, it's too small, or it's the wrong shape, size, or color.
Imperfect buys the produce from farmers for about 50% cheaper than the farmers would normally sell it to grocery stores for.
Food waste is a huge problem. It's one of the leading solids by weight in our nation's landfill system. When it rots in those landfills, it releases methane, which is really bad for the environment.
Oh, this is perfectly nutritious, delicious produce. There is nothing wrong with them in terms of bruising or health issues or pest infestations or anything like that.
Yeah, the carrots are looking real cool this week.
So we're still really new. We just launched about 5 weeks ago. But I would say on a weekly basis, we go through about 5,000 to 6,000 pounds of produce right now. And hopefully by the end of the year, that number will be closer to 30,000 to 40,000 pounds of produce on a weekly basis.
Let's roll, baby.
We are currently serving about 500 customers in our first 5 weeks, so it's all skyrocketed, all just from word of mouth.
Produce, you want to go inside? Yeah, this is what we have. Take a look there. Got some greens.
I thought it was a really cool idea that people were using produce that isn't considered perfect. John Oliver did like a bit about it a couple weeks ago.
Americans are throwing out a third or more of our food, and the amount we throw out has increased by around 50% since the 1970s. At this rate, In 40 years, when you order pizza from Domino's, they'll just deliver it straight to the nearest dumpster. As they should, but that's not the point here.
I think Americans are becoming more aware of the issue of food waste. The U.S. government just this past week actually set a major goal on reducing food waste. Actually, there's a lot of people saying that 2015 is the year of ugly fruit.
Again, by looking at this picture that you see on the screen, what's wrong with that fruit or veggies or produce? What's wrong with it? Nothing. It's just, maybe misshapen a little. And like the guy said, it's for cosmetic reasons. And that's just, kind of insane to think about. So again, I hope, that video is just, showcasing how just because it may look a little different doesn't mean anything is necessarily wrong with that item or something, right? So again, hopefully it gave you a new perspective on things as it did for me. And thanks so much for watching. Next up, we talked about food cost last week, but we're going to watch a video on the cost of food waste. So the cost of food last week, but there's also a cost for the waste that during the different stages of production that food goes through. So again, this is quite interesting. Hope you all enjoy and learn something new.
Worldwide, 30% of food is lost or wasted. This averages out to 614 kilocalories per person every single day, about the same as 10 medium eggs or 21 large carrots. But wait, what does this have to do with climate change? When food is lost or wasted, all of the resources that went into making it are wasted too. Globally, this accounts for 1.4 billion hectares of wasted land and 250 kilometers cubed of wasted water every year. That's a land area larger than Canada and India put together, and enough water to fill up 100 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. What's more, food loss and waste are responsible for 8 to 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions. These emissions not only come from the production and transportation of the wasted food, but they also come directly from the rotting food itself, when it is broken down by microorganisms. Despite all this waste, in 2019, nearly 1 in 10 people around the world were exposed to severe food insecurity. Reducing food loss and waste by just 50% would provide enough food to feed all of these people, and then some. Although food losses occur at all stages of the food supply chain, their main cause varies between different countries. In wealthier countries, more than 40% of food loss and waste occur at the retail and consumer stage, largely due to consumer behavior and food supply exceeding demand. Food losses in lower income countries mostly occur earlier in the supply chain, due to poor harvesting techniques, insufficient storage and cooling facilities, and a lack of infrastructure for food transport and marketing. So, what can we do to reduce all of this food loss and waste? Well, let's begin at the start of the supply chain. We need to reduce food losses on the farm itself. Suboptimal conditions, such as not enough water and too much heat, significantly reduce the growth potential of food crops. And 20 to 40% of crops globally are lost to insect pests, weeds, and diseases. Global soil quality is also degrading, making it harder for plants to access the nutrients they need to grow, and forcing farmers to rely on artificial fertilizers. By improving soil quality and exploiting natural interactions between plants, animals, and their environment, farmers can improve crop yields whilst reducing waste and resource use. Providing farmers with effective harvesting technologies will also be important, as food is often lost to damage or spillage during the harvesting process. One of the biggest causes of food loss in lower income countries is storage. If food is left somewhere that is too hot or too damp, it can easily spoil or rot. Improving storage facilities and transport infrastructure can therefore significantly reduce losses. If lower income countries had the same access to refrigeration as richer nations, food losses would be reduced by 25%. To solve this problem, we need to develop low-cost, off-grid solutions for food preservation, such as mobile, solar-powered storage. Food processing and more durable packaging can also prevent food spoilage during storage, transport, and at the consumer stage. Although we would need to consider the sustainability of the packaging that is used. Even so, innovation can only get us so far. Retailer and consumer behaviors will also need to change. For example, supermarkets set very high standards for what food should look like, meaning that imperfect food is often discarded, even if it's perfectly edible. Embracing these ugly foods at both the retail and consumer level will significantly reduce how much gets thrown away. Restaurants, retailers, and caterers can also reduce their waste by selling food in more appropriate portions, and by donating uneaten goods to those who are unable to afford them. But what can we do as individuals? Well, we can start by planning ahead and only buying what we need. We can cook with leftovers and use our freezers to keep food fresh for longer. As well as encouraging less wasteful practices, we also need to be more aware of how to store food properly and how to tell if food is still safe beyond its expiration date. As the world gets richer, consumer-level food waste is likely to become more and more of a problem. Therefore, it is vital that people are aware of the impacts of food waste and what they can do to make a difference. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification.
Wow, again, I thought this video was quite interesting, just kind of spinning on thinking about the cost of food, but the cost of the waste that that occurs during that process and how it affects us, on day-to-day life. I think, again, some of the things that he said that stuck out to me, again, I just jotted some notes down. When food waste occurs, it's not just a waste of food, it's a waste of water as well. Water is required to make these different produce and things of that nature. And, we know how limited water is on our earth. So it's like kind of twofold what happens, when we waste food. He said in 2019, 1/10 of the people in the world were facing food insecurity. And if just half the food that was wasted was not wasted, then we could feed those folks and then some, which I thought was astounding. I thought, in different countries and how, their economics are playing out, in richer countries, it mostly occurs at the consumer level because of the cosmetic reasons and the social, things of that nature. But in lesser rich countries, it's because due to a bad conditions to actually get to the food to the people. So, it makes me, feel some kind of way when I see it, around us when folks waste food because, we're blessed to have such, better infrastructure than many other countries. And still there's a lot of food that is being wasted. So if you thought this video was quite compelling or interesting or that you learned something new, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, if you never really thought about, the cost of, what it takes to, remove waste from our surroundings and, how, food waste, what kind of went into that food and what we're losing when we waste it. So again, if you learned something new, if you thought the video was interesting and compelling, please raise your hand in Zoom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And let's, tell folks all the time, make sure, while you have it, you might as well use it or lose it. And when you lose it, it doesn't just, it doesn't just hurt ourselves, it hurts others in our community. So, I think about that all the time because we want to make sure we have the planet. We only have one Earth, right? So thank you all so much for participating. You all can lower your hands by hitting lower at the bottom. So speaking of waste and food waste and how to reduce it, is something called a zero waste lifestyle that he mentioned in the video. So a zero waste lifestyle is aimed at minimizing the creation of waste and reducing one's environmental impact. It involves making conscious choices to avoid single-use items, reduce packaging, recycle effectively, compost organic waste, and prioritize reusable products. And I know that may be kind of a lot. Those are like 6 different things to kind of think about, but you don't have to do much to fulfill those different things. So again, this is the graphic right here. You can just looking on the internet and I'm just searching for some different tips and tricks. This image was quite interesting. Bring your own cup. You know, a lot of, if you do go to a coffee shop, if you bring your own cup, it's usually a reduced cost for certain items, things of that nature. A stainless lunchbox, versus like a, one and done like carry out container, you know what I'm saying? Recycle, make sure you recycle items. If you have a recycling bin next to your trash bin, make sure you separate the two so you can recycle what you can and, put what you can in the trash. Use glass jars. They're very durable and long lasting as well. Reduce, reuse, recycle, as we all know. Reusable bags, reusable cups. Yeah, take the extra step to sort in separate items that could be recycled, glass, paper, plastic. Hey, that's pretty simple. And, I grew up seeing a lot of shows and things of nature that had like the glass and the paper and the plastic and how to separate them. Use a metal straw. I love a metal straw. I actually have one right here that I use. Just bought them. I'm not sure where, but I love metal straws. I much prefer them than paper. So I love that as well. So again, these are just some additional tips. Oh yeah, last but certainly not least, plastic bags. If you use them once in a while, hey, no judgment on anybody's part, right? But I try to reduce, if I have a reusable bag, like like an Aldi's bag or a little tote or something, I'm going to use that versus a plastic bag. One, I'm more likely to keep it and hold on to it because it's a different bag, not just a plain Jane plastic bag, right? So these are some great tips as well. Let's see. And then this, more graphics as well. And then we're gonna play a video, a fabric bread bag, okay? It'll last longer in the bag versus like maybe the plastic containment we use. As a kitchen composter, fabric bags, right? Or produce bags. I love produce bags. They're very useful in making sure everything can still breathe, wherever it's at on the counter or in the fridge. Metal or bamboo straws even. Use your own bottle. Bamboo toothbrushes. They break down versus the plastic ones. I love a good bamboo toothbrush. A reusable coffee mug. Again, I love anything that you can reuse more than once. When you don't have to put in the trash, you may have to wash it or clean it, but I'd rather do that than kind of take out the trash anyway, right? Compostable brushes, reusable tea bags, reusable bags. Lots of great little things that you can do. Don't take much effort, but can make a big difference. Okay, so again, this video taking you to a YouTube video, Zero Waste Hacks. I think it's quite interesting. I'm gonna put this link in the chat. Those other ones, I meant to do it for those, but I'm gonna copy the link and paste it once you finish watching. But here are some zero waste hacks you all can take advantage of that I thought was quite interesting. But also please share your favorites in the chat as well. I'll be sure to take a look at them in just a second. But again, here are some hacks that will help you get closer to zero food waste, and I hope you enjoy.
In 2019, 5.3 million Americans used 10 or more rolls of plastic wrap. Beeswax wrap lasts about a year. It just varies on how often you use it. It's just like plastic wrap in terms of keeping the air out. So you can take any sort of produce and you can wrap it. I know if you're cutting something in half and you want to put it in the fridge, this can actually help to prevent the air from seeping in and helps it last a lot longer. My next swap is to replace single-use tea bags as well as coffee cups and opt for either a metal tea infuser for tea or a French press for coffee. Not all tea bags are compostable. A lot of them actually contain plastic and they also emit little pieces of microplastic into your tea. So usually what I do is I will go to a zero waste store and buy tea in bulk. And again, if you don't have access to a zero waste store, there are places online where you can buy tea in bulk and then you can just simply place it in a metal tea infuser. It's really cute as well. And I just love that you're able to reduce waste and you can also choose how much tea that you want to put in it. And then once you're done, what I like to do is just compost it. So I'll just throw the compost in the freezer. And then in terms of coffee, so if you have a Keurig, I wouldn't go out and buy a whole new machine. They actually have refillable coffee pods, which you can use. If you're on the lookout for a coffee maker, I would highly recommend opting for a French press over a typical coffee maker. What's great about a French press is that it doesn't require any filters, so it's completely zero waste. And then once you're done with the coffee grounds, you can upcycle it and make a body scrub, or you can simply compost it. My last kitchen swap is one of the most impactful, which is composting versus sending food to landfill. A lot of people think that when you throw your food in the trash that it just disintegrates, but actually because food needs oxygen to break down, it does not decompose because it's piled and piled on a ton of trash, so there is no room for it to breathe. It causes it to off-gas methane, which is about 20 times more potent than carbon dioxide. The way that I compost is I put it in the freezer because you don't want it to smell. I know some people will leave it out, but for me, I want to make sure there's no bugs or any issues like that. Another way is just to upcycle the food scraps before you even compost them. So if you want to take some vegetable scraps, you can actually boil it and make veggie broth, which I think is great because that's just going to reduce waste. As of now, I don't compost at home, but I take it to a farmer's market. And if you decide you want to compost at home, you can buy a composter and you can put it outside if you have access, and you can make your own fertilizer. So there's definitely different ways that you can use food scraps instead of just throwing it in the trash, which will end up in landfill.
Just wanted to stop here really quick. Store these veggies at room temperature. Peppers, cucumbers, eggplant, butternut squash. That's really interesting. I always want to learn more about that. Yeah, put your apples and your potatoes together. Apples, the gas that comes out of the apples actually stops the potato from sprouting. So when you have a bag of potatoes, just put an apple or two in there and they'll last longer. I think that's a really great hack. So that video again had some household tool tips that you can use, what you can use to help, again, reduce your food waste, things of that nature as well. It also showcased what you can do with like veggie scraps and the peels. You can pickle vegetables in the peels as well. I think that's interesting. And then these tips, these little tips about how to store, first in, first out. I love that rule as well. And just being able to freeze and utilize the different things that are already in your home to make food last longer. And again, something new. I mean, I love, man, that veggie stock looked amazing. I mean, just how deep that color was for that stock. So I know it was really flavorful as well. So if you liked these past videos or this video, you learned something new, you got a tip from it, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, if you learned a new tip, if you found that video interesting, again, a new perspective, something new that you learned, please raise your hand in Zoom. It was quite interesting, right? Just those, again, little things that you can do just to help out our planet and just tell others. That's how we're going to keep our planet for generations and generations, just by showcasing this to others and by practicing, ourselves as well. So thank you all so much for your participation. As always, you can lower your hands by hitting lower at the bottom. Maddie said, but they always put cucumbers in the chilled section in the store. You're right about that. I'm not sure on that. Baked veggie peels for snacks are better than potato chips. Yes, it blows in the wind like a real plant. Very cool. Yes, thank you. Use lemon juice, Sprite, and Mountain Dew bottles. I see. Thank you. Oh, wow. I love that you're reducing, reusing, and recycling. Thank you so much for sharing, Janelle and Bridget. And thank you all so much for participating. Here are some fun facts about food waste. And then we have a video. Okay. So did you know that 25% of fresh water we consume to produce food we never eat? So again, that the 2 videos ago, they talked about how food waste also involves water being wasted. Well, there you go. 25% of fresh water we consume or use to produce food we never eat. Also, did you know $166 billion, the retail value of preventable waste, is spent on food we never eat? That's a lot of money, right? The average American household throws out 25% of the food that they purchase, and a family of 4 spends more than $1,600 a year in wasted food. That's, at least 100 and some change dollars a month that gets, wasted or thrown away. And that's just, again, crazy to think about, especially with the rising cost of food. That's why I thought about doing that presentation first, because, we know food is getting, more and more expensive, right? So when folks throw away food, that's just going to be more and more money in a way, right? So, I hope, I certainly think of that, because it's always a lesson to be able to eat and, have food and things of that nature. So, everyone, we should all think more on that nature, that it's, um, a luxury that we're able to, be able to eat and things of that nature, right? So just being grateful for what we have. And just these facts kind of compels me to even do more now, in, my own home, but also share with others to be able to help our planet. So this is a roadmap to reduce US food waste.
Did you know that every year Americans spend nearly $220 billion growing, processing, and transporting over 60 million tons of food that's never eaten? We're wasting 400 pounds of food per person, while 1 in 7 Americans is at risk of going hungry. On farms, fruits and vegetables are left in the dirt because they're not visually perfect. In restaurants and grocery stores, extra food is purchased just to keep buffets and shelves looking full before being tossed. And in homes, confusing expiration dates lead families to pour perfectly good milk down the drain. If all this wasted food were grown in one place, this mega farm would cover over 3/4 of California. Growing this food consumes over 20% of our national water supply, and once it ends up in a landfill, it's a major contributor to climate change. Well, it's time for a solution. A national study by ReFed, a multi-stakeholder nonprofit committed to reducing U.S. food waste, reveals huge financial, social, and environmental opportunities hiding under all this waste. ReFed's roadmap shows how we can take steps now to reduce food waste by 20% nationwide, reaping benefits of over $100 billion. All of the solutions fit into the broad categories of prevention, recovery, and recycling. Prevention means avoiding food waste from ever happening through solutions like standardized date labeling, consumer education, smaller plates in restaurants, and trayless dining at buffets. These will allow us to buy what we need, store it efficiently, and keep from throwing out perfectly good food, saving businesses and families $8 billion a year. Recovery means we can save unsold food and encourage food bank donations through effective policy, tax incentives, and business education, which will double the meals donated to families in need each year. Some food scraps are inevitable, but recycling allows us to turn them into a valuable resource through composting and anaerobic digestion, which will produce an additional 2 million tons of compost annually, as well as a reliable source of energy for cities and trucks. Solving the food waste problem will require our commitment to 4 paths of action: new financing to scale proven solutions, common sense policy change, adopting of emerging innovations, and consumer and employee education. To learn more about how to cut waste, boost the economy, reduce hunger, and help the environment, get involved and visit refed.com today.
Wow. So again, food waste. There are, again, quite a few things to do in regards to that, that, is being done as we speak, but again, it's going to be a long road. And as Mr. Harold said, reprogramming American public is a long-term task. Yes, it's, there are quite a few steps to do that, but just, us and sharing this information and again, sharing with others and talking about how food waste really does affect us, others, our community, our loved ones, our planet, our city, our country, all that good stuff, right? So think about that, and it will certainly, it's helped me reduce a lot of waste. I certainly do not waste 25% of the food that I purchase myself. And I'm glad I'm able to say that, because again, food is such a, important and vital thing in our lives. We need to have it. So, I'll treat it like, some, a new phone or something of that nature, right? Because you know, food is very, very vital. So thank you all so much for watching that video and learning more about these facts, and just thinking about how we could reduce our food waste in general. Okay, so I am going to showcase an app before we end for today that I thought was quite interesting. I'm just going to highlight it. I'm not going to go into it necessarily, but just showcase it. And I have used that service before. If I go to the App Store on my device, one second, thank you. Let me see if I still have it put in here. I think I saved the link to that video. No, it went away, but that's okay. I'm going to go to the App Store on my device, and then I'm going to hit the search button at the bottom right until the keyboard comes up. And you all may have heard of this app. It's called Too Good To Go. Okay. Again, I've utilized this app before. Again, I'm not going to go into it too much, but I'm going to showcase it and copy the link so you all can go to it and access it. It's basically an app where you can save tasty and eco-friendly food. This app makes it easy to make a positive impact on the planet while saving money on your favorite foods. With the #1 app for reducing food waste, you can save tasty, unsold snacks, takeaway meals, and ingredients straight from shops, cafes, grocery stores, and restaurants in your area, all at an unbeatable price. So with this app, again, Saving the Planet Made Easy, they won the App Store Awards 2023 winner, Cultural Impact. You can purchase food from bakeries, restaurants, supermarkets, and more. And I wish I could zoom in on this, but the prices are like $4 a bag, $3 a bag, $5 a bag, $6 a bag, and it's a bag of food. And I've utilized them in the past. All you do is go to the location and pick it up at the time that they have available, and I've already paid beforehand with the app as well. So I think it's really interesting. Yep, reserve your surprise bag before it's gone. So again, there are different grocers and restaurants. I know sometimes Kava does it, the restaurant Rasa, some bagel shops. It's anything that is also any store that is in partnership with Too Good To Go or has Too Good To Go through their services, you can utilize as well. You can track the difference you've been making. So it says the CO2 avoided and the money saved by purchasing these items. Yeah, you can also browse the map for closest bags to you. So you can see which locations are closest to you, and you can see what they have available. So again, this is the Too Good To Go app. Download the app to explore the map, finding nearby restaurants, cafes, grocery stores, and shops with unsold food. Choose your surprise bag. Browse a variety of surprise bags, each filled with tasty, unsold food, from sushi delights and fast food favorites like pizzas and burgers to grocery staples and healthy fruits and veggies. The options are endless. Select a surprise bag that suits your cravings and budgets. Prices start from as low as $3, providing an affordable and sustainable way to enjoy quality meals. So yeah, basically with the app, you see it's very high reviewed. You can see the different reviews. What a great concept. I love that I get food that is discounted and that the food doesn't go to waste as it would otherwise. What's important to know is that the options lead toward bakeries, coffees, shops, and pizza places and things of that nature. So again, this app is called Too Good To Go. I'm going to put it in the chat as well, but you can all go to the App Store and also search for it, but I'm going to put it in the chat. And yeah, it's true. I have it on my phone. So some of the restaurants that are near me, yeah, I can also look at the map and just see what's nearby. Again, Kava, you could do something at Kava. There are some, again, bakeries and shops that are available. Some bagel shops looking downtown. Again, there's a restaurant called Rasa that's really great. And there's some different options. There's something called Union Kitchen as well on 9th Street that you can take advantage of. There's quite a few restaurants here that you can discover. So again, this bag from a restaurant called Soak, it's $6. $6 breakfast surprise bag from Citizen M. Surprise bag Ross at $5.99, right? So they're really great deals that you can utilize to reduce food waste and to be and to utilize the different food that again would have been wasted if no one had purchased them as well. So that is the Too Good To Go app. Again, I put it in the chat. You can tap on the link in the chat and access it. But if you want to download and utilize this app, if you've never heard of it, but you're interested in Too Good To Go, if you feel like you may take advantage of their services, things of that nature to try it out, again, please raise your hand in Zoom. But again, I like to end with an app you all can take advantage of to literally, as in the title, says end food waste. So this is Too Good To Go. You can basically place an order from any of the restaurants they have listed and pick up a bag of food for very much reduced cost to help reduce food waste and provide you great food. Again, just like the video in the beginning, the food was never bad. The food is not bad. There's nothing rotten or anything. It's just maybe a little misshapen or just wasn't used. And sometimes that unfortunately does happen. So this app does a great job in doing so. Again, you can pick up a bag of very, very reduced cost food to help end food waste and provide yourself with some great items from maybe your favorite restaurants. I love Kava. So if I were to take advantage of this app again, I would get something from Kava, and this is a surprise bag. So it's a lot of fun as well. So thank you all so much for participating in the app and with the videos today. Thank you all so much for that. Thank you so much. Yeah, an excellent concept. So yeah, try to utilize it, Mr. Harold. It's a great app. I found out about it about a year ago, and I've used it. I've used it once or twice or so. So it doesn't have to be an everyday thing, but if you certainly love it, the more power to you. And to be able to help, again, reduce food waste and try something new out. I mean, I love kaffa, bullfrog bagels. There's all these different restaurants. Sticky Rice on H Street. Old City Market is really great. I love Las Placitas, that restaurant. Le Pain Quotidien, all those different options as well. So you can get high quality food at a reduced cost. So if anyone would like to share, no, it's pickup only, Brenda. I can double check on that really quick. It is pickup only, but that's why you get to choose. Again, the restaurant that you would like to pick it up from, you see when you select on it, it takes you to a reserve page. So no, it's fortunately no deliveries, but you can certainly pick it up at whatever location that they may have, okay? But I'm gonna put some questions in the chat. Maybe if you could again raise your hand and share your thoughts, but today was really fun. And I hope you learned something new, and please make sure you stay on to complete the poll at the end. So if you could answer one or more of these questions, I'm putting them in the chat. What is one new fact that you learned today? Do you like Too Good To Go? How will you reduce your food waste? And maybe do you like the zero waste lifestyle that we talked about? Do you like it? Do you think you could take advantage of it or utilize it in your life as well? Any thoughts on today's session, or maybe an answer for one or more of these questions in the chat? I would really appreciate that to end our session for today. But again, I hope you all learned something new. And it's always so much fun to talk about food with you all. And it was a great presentation and conversation. I appreciate all of your participation as well. First up is Brenda. Hey, Brenda, how are you?
I'm good, Alex. I'm good, thank you. Now, the new fact that I learned today was using your scraps to make stock, because I've been buying stock when I can make my own. So I think I'll probably do that. Yeah, because I mean, I cook a lot, and I usually have a lot of scraps. So, but that's what I'll do, because like I said, I usually buy stock, and it's more convenient to make it your own. At least you know what's in it.
And it tastes better.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's going to taste better too. And you're using what you buy. Hey, if you paid for it, and you might as well use as much as you can from it to get the most bang out of your buck. And
Right.
there is versatile with it. You could do, if you felt like in a chips mood, you can make the veggie peel chips like you. But if you're in a soup mood or a stock mood, you need to make
Exactly.
that, then you could do that. You can make bags. You can have a bag for the stock. You can have a bag for chips. So it's like, hey, it's two things. It's stock and chips that you may not need to purchase, or you can just make it yourself with the things that you already have. So.
Oh, okay. Well, that's how I'll reduce food waste.
I love it.
Making my own stock. Yep.
And you said, I know you love to cook. So, I'm not surprised that you didn't know that, but that just goes to show that, everyone can really take advantage of these tips, and they really do help out. And there's always something new to learn. So I'm really glad that you will utilize that and take some pictures and let us know how they taste.
I will. I most certainly will.
Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate it. I hope you had a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You too.
Again, any other hands to share again what you learned today? Do you like the app that we talked about? How will you reduce your food waste? Maybe your favorite tip. And do you like the zero waste lifestyle? I love it. If you look at Japanese culture, they're literally like zero waste altogether. There's a show on NHK, the channel TV, that literally it's called Zero Waste Life, and I love their shows. I think they're really interesting. So thank you. I like to shop like the European shop, the shop daily or every other day. This prevents. Yeah, good, Ms. Matt. I love that. Thank you so much for that. Tip as well. Thank you, Yvonne. Yes, that's a real tip. Add an apple to your potatoes and they will sprout a lot less quickly. Hi, Louise. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I was just surprised when I saw all that scrap. I thought they were going to throw them in the trash. They put them in bags and make their own stock. I thought, wow, I need to try that one.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, I peel vegetables. I mean, I cook, I don't go out too much. I cook for myself. So I always have produce. I'm always peeling or, well, sometimes, for cucumbers, sometimes I like to not peel them. But when I do, yes, it's good to have a little plastic bag, reusable bag that you put next to you. So that way you don't have to, necessarily think about a compost if you don't maybe garden or, things like that. So it just gives you another option and reduces your trash or reduces what goes in the trash bag. Other things can be put in there. And again, you're getting the bang for your buck and you're, it's good because you know what's in it. It's homemade really. And again, there are many uses. You have a bag for your scraps, for your soup, and a bag for your chips. You have a bag for, again, a lot of maybe some vegetables just melt down, again, putting in like gravies or just putting in omelets or, or pickling it, like they said, make, simple apple cider vinegar and sugar and salt and water and just pickling them, putting them on sandwiches as your veggies, right? You always try to incorporate veggies in a way. And again, what's in it, preservatives, all that, is not there in a way. So it just, it helps with other things just besides in food waste. It also helps in other areas as well, which I really love.
I also, whenever I make something, if I know it's a little bit much for two of us, I freeze, I put some in the freezer. I can always go back in and take it out, but it's good to freeze it. Then I don't have to dump it after a couple of days or 3 days. I say, oh no, it's getting old. I put it in the freezer, then I grab it. I just told my sister, I'm going to save some curried goat for next week. And I did. I put it in a container for next week, instead of having it thrown out.
Yes. Yeah, utilize that freezer. That you saw they use the freezer quite a bit in that video to store different things for months. I mean, some things can last for months in the freezer. I would just say, don't forget about it.
I won't forget about it.
Don't forget.
The members come and you have to give them something. Oh, I forget. Yeah, you will love this. And I pull it out and they don't mind.
Oh, no, that's great. And hey, it's much, you don't have to think about it. You could just be there and be able to, hey, here's this, you put it, whatever. And It's already
For a
made.
rainy
So.
day, we say. For a
Yes.
rainy day.
I love that, Louise. I'm glad that you like that tip as well.
Mhm.
I will certainly do the same as well. And thank you so much for sharing. I hope you enjoyed
Thank
today's
you.
presentation,
That's
Louise.
beautiful.
Thank you so much. And I hope you had a great weekend.
You too.
Thank you, thank you. Again, Yvonne, I appreciate, I know you're sharing it to me, but I think you may want to share that with the group as well. Make sure it says send to everyone, so you can maybe share your questions as well to help out. But that's so funny that you say that, Yvonne, because last week I had said, hey, I'm not going to really purchase anything until I kind of get through with what I have, and I ran out of milk. And I was making a pancake, and the only thing I had was powdered milk, right? So I used it. You gotta, I used a shaker thing, and then you gotta let it sit in the fridge for a minute or such. But yes, I have that powdered milk in those situations where I didn't have any regular milk, and I used it, and I would not, for me, the texture is different than regular milk, so I would not personally drink it, but mixing it when you're cooking, I love doing that. Definitely added flavor, but the texture is now gone because it's just mixed in. So, but no, I powder milk. I'm sure that was my first time making it myself, so that I probably could have done a little better job on it and things of that nature. But it's a very useful, and it lasts a long time as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Yvonne, did you have a last comment before we end it for today? But again, I appreciate your participation, everybody, and I hope you learned something new. Louise, did you have something else to share?
Yeah, I was gonna say the powdered milk, I use it even to put in my shake because I run out of almond milk. But anytime I run out, I use the powdered milk. And this morning I had to. And I was telling my sister, it's expensive in the store now, the powdered milk. When I was a child, we used to use it all the time. So I'm back to my powdered milk again.
Hey, nothing, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah.
But it does, you can really stretch it out, that powdered milk, right? You can really kind of stretch it out for, whatever your use is. Add more water. Hey, the flavor is kind of still there, just maybe a little more muddled down, but it lasts longer, right?
Yeah.
So especially if you need it, because sometimes you can't replace milk with water. You got to use some kind of milk or the dairy for certain things. So it's good to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that, Louise. I appreciate that. Thank you. I know I said it was the last one, but this is really the last one, you all, but I really appreciate these tips. Hey, Brenda, you had another thing to share?
Yeah, I just want to share with Louise. I got a ton of powdered milk. I'll send you some.
Oh, wow. Well, I would try, whenever you run out of milk, Brenda, I would try to utilize maybe a bag of that until you purchase that next bottle of milk. You know what I'm saying? So that way you can kind of, stretch things out and be able to utilize both, right? So try that out and see how that works. But thank you so much for sharing all of your thoughts and your comments today. I certainly, again, learned something new about food waste. And just for us, again, one thing, just to be conscious about the food that we purchase, the food that we eat, and how we throw food away, because we can utilize it for many other different things versus throwing it in the trash bin and putting it into one of those, in those, you saw how they loaded off the truck into the, the garbage, the dump. It made me feel sick to my stomach to see that, because that's a lot of food that we could utilize today. But other than that, thank you all so much for coming on to our session today. I'll see you tomorrow at 1:30 for our module with Jordan and talking about buttons and accessibility features. But I hope you all enjoy the rest of your wonderful day, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 1:30. Thanks so much, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks, Alex.
No problem, Mr. Thomas. Thanks so much. See you all later.
Alex, there was no poll for this.
Oh, it's okay, Brendan. It's okay. Thank you all so much. Have a good day.
Bye.
Have a good day, you all. See you tomorrow.